Okay, so what we have here now is, it looks a bit funny, but it's that character there, and it means how, actually. And in this course, we're not going to talk about characters, not at all, actually, but just a tiny little bit, because it's still so interesting. It's just basically, if you can imagine what characters are in Chinese, it's just building blocks and a puzzle almost. So there's two parts in this character, and it's woman and it's child, actually, put together, and it means good. So this is the character for good. You can just say it like how. That's how you pronounce it, how. If you ever agree with someone, you can just say how. Or if you feel like something is good, you can say how. If you feel like, oh, that's okay, how. You just say how.
好。
喂. Oh, hello. Better now, isn't it? Okay. Here's another funny thing now. The character is not very entertaining, but the sound is, or the pinyin, which we can call it. And this is or one time, I guess, is enough. It's just a sound that Chinese people make. And you will notice, if you haven't already, that Chinese people, they love to make sounds at the end of their sentences, which actually don't mean anything in particular. So you've got, for instance, you've got and that's something you can just put at the end of whatever you're saying for no particular reason, except it being, I don't know, a bit more emotional in that case. So if you say how, that would be, it's good. If you say how that means like, oh, it's good, like that. So in English, we would just stretch the word good. But in Chinese, you can't stretch it because you already have a tone, ha, or you can say how, I guess. But instead, you would just add how. So make sure you put at the end of anything you say here if you just want to make sure that people hear you because it's important to you and you're getting emotional. Since I'm a language teacher, I love to wonder at the hows and whys of languages. And one of the strongest theories here is about the because in Chinese, if you don't know it already, we have 4 tones. Well, there's a neutral one as well, so some people say 5. Now, those 5 tones will make the language a bit irregular, so you won't really feel any rhythm to it because the word that you say decide the rhythm for it. So there's no like going up where you ask a question, like in English where you go, how old are you? I'm 5 years old. And then you go down when you answer. There's no such thing in Chinese, and you might not feel like there's a rhythm or a certain sort of regularity to the language. But for that very reason, we have in Chinese then. You can add it at the end of a sentence, and it sort of brings some regularity now to the language. Because regardless of what tones the sentence has, you're always to end up with an sound. And that makes us happy and comfortable because we get regularity, finally. So that's just a bit about my own theory why we have an but I am quite a strong believer on my own theory, actually.